This is Hamley III from Spiritual Combatants, where we're training soldiers for Christ. I want to thank you for joining me on this message. Today, I'm going to be talking about love does not keep a record of wrongs. And so this is a continuation of our series on 17 characteristics of love. And this one is number 9. So let's jump right into it. So number 1, keeping a record of wrongs does not allow the offender to have a fresh start. And so when you're thinking about like this record of wrongs, you're thinking about like just as like if someone went to jail and someone goes to jail and once they're released, they have a record. So it's like a record of criminal activity that they have. And so when they go to a job interview or they go in different places, they're asked, there's one of the questions that's asked. And so they may write down, hey, this is what I was convicted of. They've served their time and they're thinking that, okay, when I'm released, then I'll have an opportunity for a fresh start. But because they have that record, people begin to address them based on that record. And so it's almost like they can never get past it. They don't have a fresh start because I address you based on the offense that you committed. Though you may have paid your debt to society, you want a second chance, you really they want to do the best they can to turn over a new leaf, fresh start, support their family, be a responsible citizen in their local community, but then they may find a lot of different challenges to be able to do so. And in like manner, we do the same thing when we hold a record of wrongs. And this often deals with the area of unforgiveness. When someone offends you, and then it's a record of wrongs that you keep. You keep this record of something that they've done to you. And because you keep this record of wrongs, you can't move beyond what you see them as, because every time you look at this record, you're going to address your offender based on what they've done to you. You can't see them the way that you saw them prior to the offense occurring, because that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is being able to treat a person as if they had never wronged you. And so you can't look at that. All you see is the offense they committed. That's the record that you have against them. And so every time you look at this record, then you address them as such. And so what happens here is that you don't give people a chance to change or a chance for them to have an opportunity to restore, for the relationship to be restored and for the relationship to be as it was before the offense occurred. You think about, ex-wives and ex-husbands. And so if they have children together, sometimes if you were hurt by one of the two were hurt, then you may keep this record of wrongs. And because you keep a record of wrongs based on what they've done to you, then you won't allow the children to interact with them. You won't give the other parent, an opportunity to be in that child's life, and you begin to talk negatively about the parent, and to be able to do things to where they no longer have a lot of access, or you restrict as much access as possible to that child and that parent. And then what that does is that begins to warp and affect that relationship. And because of that, you may be responsible for this child hating their parent, which is something they did something. Now the parent may have done something to you, the husband or wife may have done something to you, but not to the child. And that husband or wife, the ex-husband or wife, or if you have a baby or there's a mother or father somewhere, they may want to be a very responsible father or mother. They want to be in the child's life, but because of the offense that was committed and that you refuse to let go of that record, you won't give them an opportunity to do that. And that creates, so think about that. For that one offense, think about what you have done. You are affecting another generation and other lives as well, because you choose to keep that record of wrongs. And so that's where, and even like with family members and close friends, that's where this becomes a real big challenge of that record of wrongs. It may be a little bit different if we don't see a person every day. Then you're like, well, I really don't see this person. And so you may be able to address it differently. But when you have connections based on like children, or you may see them all the time, a coworker, a very close coworker that works in your section, then you have to deal with that differently. But you really need to be able to address how you respond to that record of wrong. Because what would happen, and I'm going to talk about this here in a second, is that I'll go into a little bit of detail, but what happens is that because you hold this record of wrong, you may wind up doing more damage than to not only to yourself, but to other relationships, because this one wrong was committed against you. So you may stand before the Lord and you say, this person offended me. But God may come to you and say, you know what? That one person did offend you, but you offended 4,000 people because of that one incident, because you affected the relationship with the parents. You affected all these coworkers. You affected these people while you were driving. You were affecting these people when you were walking down the street. You were affecting these people here, 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 and here because of that one event that was committed against you. And so we don't always pay attention to that, but let's go into that because that's number two. So in number two, keeping a record of wrongs does not allow the one that was offended to have a fresh start. So when you keep this record of wrongs, and so when the offender comes to you and says, hey, will you please forgive me for what I've done? I wronged you, and I know this wasn't right. You know, whatever they're doing in the process to make amends, they're genuinely sorrowful for what they've done to you, and they know they can't take it back, but they want to have a fresh start with you, and they ask for your forgiveness, but you choose not to forgive them. So then this person goes off, they've asked for forgiveness, you said no, and they go off to live their best lives. You're mad because you see them living happily, but what happens is that now when I talked about the jail, what happens now is that you voluntarily place yourself in a prison. You lock your mind, you lock up your heart, you lock up your soul. You begin to become locked and chained to that event. And so your whole persona and everything that you are and everything that you do is tied to that event because you keep a record of wrongs. It begins to decay your bones. Some people get sick over it, so their health deteriorates and they affect every relationship that they have from then on because they choose not to forgive someone and they choose to keep this record of wrongs. And so you see some people, they get to be where they're mean-spirited, they become evil, they become hurtful, they're sharp-tongued. So like I said before, from this one incident, then they begin to affect hundreds of others, tens of hundreds, maybe even, like I said, thousands of people that you may affect because this one thing may have occurred to you. And so when you keep a record of wrongs, look at this. When you keep a record of wrongs, your heart and life never finds the peace and freedom that Jesus died to give you. You won't, because you won't release the record of wrongs that's committed in you. And as I said before, in the end, you may hurt many more people because of that one offense that occurred against you. And so what we have to do is understand, and number three, is that love is about second, third, fourth, and 100 chances. And so when you think about someone that committed a crime and their record is expunged, and so when their record is expunged, they may have committed the act, but officially, that act is removed from that person's record. So now when they go to a job interview or they go to different places and it says, hey, list your criminal history if you have any, they don't have to put anything down. And so now with no record that they have an opportunity to receive the fresh start. And in like manner, we should be able to do the same by giving those individuals a chance to have a restored relationship with us and within themselves. And so what we do is we have to be able to clear the record. We have to be able to expunge the record because, as I said before, it's going to free the person who offended us, and it's going to free us as well. The offended is also forgiven as well, and also freed because of the repercussions that occur if we choose not to let this record of wrongs go and remove it. And what we do is we have to let the record go. But there's three reasons why people don't allow this record or release the record. And the first one is because people, because of that hurt and pain, when I told you that people become like mean-spirited, sharp-tongued, it becomes a part of their persona. That's who they are. And so they would have no idea how to live without that persona. It's almost like their security blanket, their comfort, what they lean on. It's almost like it becomes their heartbeat. And so they wouldn't know how to live beyond the hurt and pain that they've almost kept it, as I said in some other videos, like a badge of honor. They just walk around with it like nothing's wrong, but they don't know how to live in the freedom that Jesus died to give, because that's how they live in hate. They've lived in anger. They've lived in distrust. They've lived in so many negative things from this event that they wouldn't know how to live any other way. And the second reason is that they seek revenge or vengeance, but what they have to understand is that nothing that they do will satisfy the offense that occurred against them, or trying to seek some type of vengeance or justification or justice. In Proverbs 6:32 and 35, it says, just to give an example, it says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. And a wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou giveth many gifts. So when you see this great offense that's committed, there's nothing that the offender can do in this situation to satisfy the debt that he's caused and the wrong that he's caused. But what you do is, as the offended, is that you have to let go of that record of wrongs. That's how you free. If you want to rest content, that's how you do it, is by letting go. And this is letting go your emotional connection to the event and your right that we sometimes feel we have a right to seek justice and vengeance. That will spoil your heart, and that does you more damage than you being able to let it go so that you can be real free and light. When you begin to treat another person as if they never wronged you, and you give this person an opportunity to be the same way that they were in your life before him, there's a freedom that occurs in your life and heart. And so that's what you want to be able to seek after, because nothing's going to satisfy you. And even though you will try many times, it won't satisfy. And so you want to be able to work toward that. And when you begin to let that go and say, you know what, Lord, I'm going to let this go. And it's almost like someone that, say if somebody you driving to work every day, and so oftentimes when you drive, people are really aggressive, and so sometimes you get mad and you get angry, and it's like road rage. But say one day, it's real nice outside, and you're about to go on vacation. The next day, and you're driving, and you're not thinking about all these people in the road rage and people cutting you off. So when somebody does something that you would normally be mad about, you say, you know what? I'm not going to even let that bother me today. I'm going to enjoy my day because I'm going on vacation. And what happens? Whereas you used to be, your anger flares up, you start yelling and hollering and screaming from your car. Then now, because you say, you know what? I'm not going there. I'm going to let this go. Your heart, everything begins to calm down. It's the exact same way, but it's with your emotions, being able to disconnect your emotions from that event and being able to stop seeking justice, vengeance, and hating this person. Say, no, I'm not going to do those things. I'm not going down those paths. And I'm going to give this person every opportunity. I'm going to treat them as if they never wronged me, and I'm going to give them that chance. I'm going to be trusting, because love is like that. I'm going to give them the opportunity. I'm going to give them back my heart. I'm going to trust them. I am going to give. Now, we're not supposed to put any confidence in any man, but not in the sense like I'm trusting. So not in that sense. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give back my heart. I'm going to try to restore this relationship. I'm going to do everything that I can to give them the opportunity, and give myself the opportunity too, to have this relationship as it was before the offense occurred. And so sometimes, those flaming darts may come back like, hey, and this person may hurt you. Hey, this person, nope, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to stand my ground, just as it says in Ephesians 6. So make sure that you read it over. I'm going to have the full armor of God. So I'm not going to let those fiery thoughts hit my head. I'm not going to let them come into me. I'm going to block all those things off. I'm going to make sure that my helmet is on. I'm good to go. I'm blocking those things with the shield of faith, making sure that I am walking in what God's called me to do, that I'm going to give this person every opportunity, regardless of whatever comes out. I'm going to walk in love, and I'm going to walk in truth. And so, in the third thing that some people don't let go of, one reason why people may not let go of these situations is because they just don't want to get hurt again. And so they were pained deeply. I mean, it was a deep-seated pain, and they never want to experience nothing like that again in their lives. And so they began to protect themselves, but like they said, like they protected themselves, but they're actually going into the prison and they're blocking people out from them, because it's just like prison. Nobody gets in and nobody gets out. You don't get out. It's the same thing. So when people are out there in prison, they see the fences and all the barbed wire. They're not coming in. They can't come in to get you, and you can't come out either. And so relationships are at a halt, at a standstill. Sometimes people are separated from one another because of that situation. And so that's something that you really want to be able to deal with, so that you can have your heart to be clean before God and before man. And so what we have to be able to do is to consider our lives before God. And so in Isaiah 64:4, it says, "But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags, and all we do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind and have taken us away." So think about that. The best that we can do, the righteous we can do, all of our righteousness is as filthy rags to God. But the blood of Jesus had cleaned us and expunged the record of sin that God saw. So God does not treat us based on our record of sin. The blood of Jesus has cleansed us. And so now we have an opportunity to live righteous and holy before God and be seen as that before Him because of the work that Jesus had done for us. And so as He forgives us, we should be able to seek to allow others to have that relationship where we forgive others as well. Because when we're holding that record of wrongs, we're not forgiving people. We're not forgiving them for what they've done against us. We're holding something against them, something over their head, which is something else that people want to do as well, because they know, okay, I got something over you, and so I'm going to keep it there as long as I can. But instead, we should be able to act in the same way that Jesus acted toward us, being kind to those who are, it may be in a situation where they're not forgiving, but we should still be forgiving to the unthankful and the evil. And so that's our goal, to just as God is kind to them, so should we be. So number one, when we think about loving others as ourselves, we want to be free and we want to be forgiven. If we offend someone, we want to go to them and say, you know what, forgive me for what I've done to you. Please, can we have an opportunity to restore this relationship, or if there's something that I can do to help in this process, let me know. We all want to have that second chance. And so we want to be, so because we want the second chance and that's how we want to be loved, then we should go out to do the same for others. And we should be first in line to give someone an opportunity for a second chance. We should be doing that, or a third, or fourth, or a 100th chance, or a 489th chance. Same thing. And so, in like manner, we want the fresh start too if we offend someone. So we want to give everyone the opportunity to live without shame, pain, and guilt. And so now, what I want to be able to do, I just want to encourage you through this, just to be able to let go of that record of wrong that you have that's holding you and keeping you from forgiving another person. And so because of unforgiveness, if we don't forgive, our Heavenly Father will not forgive us, as it talks about in Matthew 6:14 and 15. This is very serious. And so I pray that God will help you in this situation. I pray He's reminding you of anything, even if you had thought about it, it's been like 30, 40 years ago, that God will bring this back to your remembrance. It is that serious that you bring those things up, that you choose to let those things go, and you will seek to restore relationships so you can restore your heart, your mind, your soul, so that you don't go out. Remember, we talked about rudeness, so that one of the reasons why we not be rude is because love is not rude. It's because love, if we're rude, we begin to affect other people because we don't care about what we say and how we treat them, and we will injure many more people than the offense. The person may have offended us one time, but we may offend thousands of others because we were hurt. We may affect generations of people. And so I pray God will help you to let those situations go, to let go of the emotional connection to those events and choose to restore relationships and to treat others as if they have never wronged you. That you will walk in truth, you will walk in the armor of God, you will stand your ground. You will not allow any negative thought or anything that goes on to interrupt or to disrupt your ability to see freedom and peace. Because I'm telling you, it's like a weight. When you let that go of that thing, it's like a weight that's lifted off your soul. And I pray that you will find the freedom and peace in Jesus Christ, that you can live for Him and walk in love because you no longer keep a record of wrongs. If you have any questions or concerns, please hit me up. And as we're talking about the subject of record of wrongs and forgiveness, I want to share one of my books with you. It's called Forgive, and this is Living Free from the Pain of Offense. And so you can go to my website, spiritualcombatants.com. If you click on the books link, then you'll see an image for the book. Click on the image, and then you can download a free PDF right now or purchase a hard copy or an ebook as well. And so as I said, please shoot me a message if you have any questions, concerns about this message or about forgiveness. And in my book on Forgive, it's my own personal testimony on how God helped me to forgive someone who wronged me. And so please check out the book, shoot me a message. If you like this message, please share it with your friends. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive more videos just like this one and continue our video series as well as many others. And until the next time, may God bless you abundantly. God bless.